Background. Of course, I was born at KGH in January of 1962, and so we lived just across the creek from my grandparents, across the creek from the big house. If you all know the Bennett big house, and I would cross the creek and go see my Aunt Winnie in the big house. She was one I loved very much, very much. And then about 4, we moved to West Bank for the horse farm in 1966. And so I thought I went to heaven because I could hike up the hillside and then I worked on the farm pretty much all week. And as a young person at 7 years old, I'd go down to water the horses at 7 a.m. to fill the water buckets. And so I was ever working at the horse farm, and then years go by, and my dentist was Dr. Ian Leach, and he had a brochure from Shawnigan Lake School. It was a private school on the island. It's an Anglican school, and I thought, well, there I could get a chance to go to church because we hadn't gone since I was 6 years old. So I went to Shawnigan for grade 9 and grade 10. It was good, and they had church every Saturday because leave on Sunday. It was a good experience. And then so when I was there, I went to see my grandfather in Victoria, WAC, and I said, well, what church should I go to? Mom and Dad don't go to church. And he said, well, you go yourself. Oh, the light went on. Anyway, so now he said, well, you didn't need to go to private school. Anyway, so I went to KSS, the grade 11, and so I would go to school and run over to the Bennett house for lunch and run back to school and visit with my grandfather. And so this one time my grandfather said, I'd just started reading the Bible, and anyway, so my grandfather turned to my grandmother and said, looks like we're going to have a preacher in the family. Anyway, the next time my grandfather turned to Winnie and says, do you like Andrew? And she says, oh yes. And he smiled and says, Anyway, so now it's February, he's passed away, and I still don't know what church to go to, no clue. And my barber invites me to the Pentecostal church, and for a few weeks I've been going, and then Winnie was worried about me and my grandmother, so Winnie invited me to the gospel meeting, and that didn't start till September, so that was now in April. So I kept going to the Pentecostals, and then in September went to the gospel meetings, and the minister said, well, just let them compare. So I went to the Pentecostal church in the morning and gospel meeting in the afternoon, and just couldn't quite see it. And then finally by about the Christmas time, I could see it, and then professed, as we would say, in January 27 at the meeting. So evermore I've been going to our church, but it's all because of this one person, Aunt Winnie, was very special. And yeah, years and years go by, and took an interest in astronomy. So back about December 1987, I went to the planetarium, observatory, and it was an open public night, and I asked to look through the telescope, and they showed me a view of Mars, and you could see the polar cap really clearly. This is a big telescope, something like 24-inch wide, really good optics. And from then on, I was interested in astronomy. And anyway, so I was in Vancouver. I went to work for Herb Doman for his lumber company, and I would count packages. And within a few months I was there, we started using computers, Lotus 123 spreadsheets. So you fill in all the detail with the number packages, and then you put in a formula, and you put in a macro in the top 30 lines, and you press a button, and the data fills the formulas, and then you press another button and it prints the spreadsheet. And that spreadsheet's that high, like that wide, the folded paper, if you remember from years ago. Anyway, so then the next thing is Herb Doman sold that part of the company to another company, and they ran most of the shipments to the East Coast. So we only had 2 ships a year instead of 10. So at that time I thought, well, I might as well come home to West Bank and go back to work on the farm, because there wasn't much work to be done at Doman's anymore. and it wasn't very long. Norman had debt difficulties and then became bankrupt. But anyway, so I continued to work at the horse farm, and everything was working out and I finally got on as a salary, and so it worked out pretty good. And I was getting engaged. It was about August 2nd, 1996. We'd been to our church convention, and I asked this young lady, or older lady now maybe, but to be my wife, and there were a few tears and a kiss and everything. It was really good. And then we were married in November 2nd of 1996. Well, Dad was building a house. We needed a house at the end of Brown Road to get access to do a subdivision at the adult community, the adult community. And my sister was going to get the house, but since we were married, Corliss and I, we were to get the house, which was a win-win. So anyway, so we stayed in a cottage at the Cove, where the Cove is now, was Lakeshore Villa then. And then by May, we moved into the house. And we've been there ever since. It's worked out really well for timing wise, and it's still, it's not very far from the farm. It's only maybe a half a kilometer. I used to walk to work. Now I just drive to work. But yeah, everything really worked out well. Anyway, like I said, to find a wife, I had to go to the States. We had our get-togethers for the over 30s. And we'd meet and go to Leavenworth and places like that, or Mount Rainier, and so the first time I met my wife to be was at Victor and Simon Poo Falls, way up by Kettle Valley. We had kind of a lunch, and everybody was there, maybe 20 or 30 of us young people, and I saw my wife to be, and she commented that I didn't wear a bike helmet, and I just looked at her and smiled, and I was just too shy to say anything. Anyway, so now we went to Leavenworth to our get-together, over 30s again, in Washington State. Anyway, so I sat on the sled with her, the pulled by horse sled, and so I got to know her a little bit better, and I took a picture of her. She'd fallen in the snow, and I going down the hill with her cross-country skis, and so I thought, I need your phone number so I can give you this picture so nobody else gets the picture. Anyway, that was an opening, so I'd phone her very often, and then she would say, oh, she thought she would just let me go, and then a few weeks would go by and she'd miss my phone calls. Anyway, so we go to convention. We go to Salmon Arm Convention together, and then to Glen Valley, and then to Milltown, and like I say, at Glen Valley we are engaged, and so I got to meet her parents at Milltown Convention, just in Washington State, and everything went really well from there on. And now I have two daughters. One, ours is Dina. She's about 26 now. She kind of does the accounting at the business under my sister Mary Jean, and is working out really well. She took a business course. She was going to go into science and physiotherapy, but instead she took business because she was missing a science course. So she did a 4-year degree, and so she's right in her element working at the family business. And so my other daughter, Sarah, we went to China to get her back about 2003 it was. Anyway, so now she's going to be a teacher, and she's going to university, Vancouver Island University, and she's taken 2 years already, so she has 3 more years to go. She found a place to stay just this last week or so she's there now, going to her courses and having a really good time. She says some of the classes like math are difficult, she says, but she just wants to be a teacher to middle school. So I'm not sure, that's gotta be the most difficult age to teach, but anyway, so she's doing really well too. So blessed with 2 daughters and a lovely wife and a nice home and family, and every Sunday, second Sunday, we usually meet at Mom and Dad's. Of course, Dad's not there now, and of course, all of you would know Dad and RJ, and so it's a little bit different, but we still meet the same and have our spaghetti and meatballs and have a visit, and we often talk politics and business, as typical, and looking to the next election in just 5 or 6 weeks from now, and anyway, so that's kind of part of the story. And like I say, it was kind of nice to come back to the horse farm and to do the same work I did as a young kid and everything. So be productive, and it worked out really, really well, timing wise, and place to live, and nice family, and even our connections with even our family dinners and all our get-togethers. And next week we're going on Saturday. We're going to Vancouver to go to the Hastings for a race, and one of it, the race is going to be called the R.J. Bennett Cup. So, we're all booked to be there. We've booked our hotel and made all arrangements, and Sarah's going to meet us at the ferry at Horseshoe Bay, and we're all going to go to the races that day and stay for supper that night and head back sometime on Sunday. We'll go to our morning meeting on Sunday there. Anyway, so that's part of the background, and like I say, the wonderful part was this wonderful woman called Aunt Winnie. She was the one that kind of saved my life in so many words and so many ways, and that's a kind of a part of the background of my history. And the other one too is the astronomy. So back about years ago, we would meet in the back of a restaurant back about 94 or 96. Really small club, astronomy club, and then we finally got to where we are now, meeting at the college, at the room 368 at the science room, and so each Tuesday once a month, and we have our next meeting on the 17th at 7:30, and so really got going, and then we got some land way up towards Big White for our astronomy club, and we built kind of an observatory place with 2 trailers and a big telescope, a 25-inch wide telescope, where it weighs about 500 pounds. We roll it out for the night, and like I was just saying before, I was to speak when I got to see Jupiter and could actually see the red spot and actually see the color red on it. Could actually say I seen it. Was really, really cool. And we were just up there just last Friday, and we saw a few meteors, and we were looking at different items, and Saturn and Andromeda, and 50 guests. The sad part was about a month and a bit ago, it was the morning of August 21, Wednesday morning, 2 guys came in and stole some items. And we lost about $20,000 worth of telescopes, and one of those items was a $10,000 articulating eyepiece for a wheelchair, about that long. Anyway, so it has obviously has a number on it, a serial number, so we're hoping we'll recover them at some point. Anyway, that's part of the background, but like I say, just last Friday, everything went well. We had about maybe 10 of us volunteers, about 50 guests, and all went well, and so onward we go, and so like I say, the passion with our meetings and astronomy, and it all continues on, and just really can thank Dad for full-time employment. There's so much work to do. I never hardly finish before 5 p.m. So and that all that exercise keeps me fit as well, and so just so thankful for all of Dad's support and family and our family get-togethers, and I say like for Aunt Winnie was a real help. Does anybody have any questions?
How many horses does your farm have now?
Oh, about 72.
Wow.
Yeah. Back about 5 years ago it was 92.
Really?
Yeah.
And how many racing horses?
Oh, there's about 7 or 8. Yeah. We have, yes.
See any UFOs?
No. No. The other part too is we have a green laser program, so we had to take a course to use it. So last Friday night, Colleen was using her green laser, and she would make sure she didn't point at any airplanes. There was an airplane going by. You're supposed to have a spotter as well. So she saw the airplane. But yeah, no UFOs. We usually see if the space station is going above, we know what time it will appear exactly. And lots of times Colleen would point out the space station as it's going up above us. But even if we were to point a laser at the space station, it would just appear like the brightness of Jupiter. It wouldn't hurt the space station, but an airplane it would. Yeah. So we have a spotter when we're using the green laser, but no UFOs. No. It's for pointing out stars and constellations. Back about 5 years ago, we had UBC students come up to the observatory. They were taking astronomy, but they didn't even know where the stars were. So the only way to point them out was with a green laser.
So what would that do to an airplane if you accidentally?
Oh, terrific damage, not to the airplane, but to the pilot. The beam would hit really, really bad. Even the regular laser, there's a high-powered one that's really bad, but even a regular laser, it would pretty much blind the pilot. It entered the cockpit like this and just totally blind, really, really serious damage to eye damage, even just with a regular green laser. So we took a course on how to use it so we can use it. We have to take the course every 3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're part of the RASC?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Wonderful, that's great.
Yeah. The next question.
Now that your friend RJ is gone, what's going to be the future of the horse racing business?
Continuing.
And what's your organization? Do you have a fellow that's in charge of it, or are you in charge of it? What's happening there?
Oh, okay. My sister kind of runs a business, so she went to pay bills, and of course they said she had to change the account into her name because, you know, Dad's passed away. So she had to do a lot of different setups for payments and stuff. So she looks after the family business. Everything goes well. Just continues like it was. There was no big payout or anything. Just basically we get a bit of a dividend every 3 months. So nothing changes. Everything continues. And Mary Jean takes ownership of the farm. So if there is a disagreement, again, nothing changes because everything is like just, well, Mary Jean will own that. So there's nothing going to be subdivided, you know, if there was a conflict in the family. So everything just pretty much just goes forward like usual. You know, on the farm, like you're saying, we have 5 mares in foal this year, so that's pretty good, you know, job security for the next year. And we also have Not Bourbon, a stallion that's on our farm that will be standing this year to be a stallion. And so there's be some more mares in foal. And then going forward into the future, we have some of the pastures that are in grapes, Gold Hill grapes. It's called wineries, and it's just by the nut farm, and there's about must be 4 or 5 acres in grapes already. So going into the future, we'll probably wind the horse business down and plant more and more grapes. Even across from my house, we have a whole bunch of grapes between my house and my sister Roseanne's house. Some of them are already planted. Yeah, that's the future. Next question.
How does someone get to join the astronomy club?
Okay, so our meeting is just this next Tuesday, the 17th, 7:30 p.m. at the college in room 368. I don't have a speaker yet because I mentioned to Olaf, our president, back at the astronomy meeting last Friday, I said, you got to get a speaker. And Greg Mohammed is supposed to look after that department. So we'll have a speaker soon. And so like I say, it's a Tuesday every month, all the way from September through June. And it's usually on the full moon. So the Tuesday of the full moon. So if you're in astronomy, you don't do much astronomy with a full moon because all you can see is the moon because it's so bright. Anyway, so once every month, there's a Tuesday meeting at the college, and we have an astronomical speaker, usually a professor of astronomy. We've had several professors speak, and really good speakers. And we have about maybe a membership of 85. Back a few years ago, before COVID, it was 140, and then it went down to maybe 110 or so. And then some people had a conflict with the national office. I'm not sure what it was all about, and they split it off, and about 20 or more of our members. So we're down to about 85 members. And like I say, last Friday there was about 8 or 10 of us at the observatory and about 50 guests. So we just carry on, and we have a 30-year lease on that property. And like I say, we did kind of have a bit of a loss. That's $20,000 worth of telescopes that was stolen, and so it was a bit of a loss. But going forward, we plan to keep continuing as we had before. Yes.
Yeah, it is interesting. Andrew, how old were you when your grandpa was premier?
Oh, okay. So I was born in 1962. So my grandfather, well, he was 62 when I was born in 1962. So I knew a little bit about politics when I was growing up. So back in 1972, when he was defeated, I was 10 years old.
So would you have any special memories of when he was premier and you were
Oh, okay,
with him
yeah,
in Victoria?
yeah, oh yeah, oh in Victoria. Remember that the Bennett limousine is they're trying to find a home for it. Anyway, so I was in this vehicle, and I was in the back seat, and there was a glass pane right between the back seat and the front seat, like that, so that there was a separation. That big old limousine, yeah, vivid memories of that. And we were in the at the legislature. We sat in the visitors, the public portion, and my Uncle Bill was there, and he introduced us, Dad and our family, and we went to the office where Uncle Bill was. Yeah, memories like that, and also too, years ago when I was asked him about damming the Fraser River, I was only about 10, 1972, and he said, well, we couldn't do it because of the salmon, which was a true story. So that it would be a really big dam. It would be the Moran Dam. You can look it up on the internet. It'd be 2 times as big as the Bennett Dam, about 20 turbines instead of 10. And so if we were to increase our electric demand by 40% for all the electric vehicles, it would exactly meet that demand.
Was Gallardi driving?
No, I did meet Gladia several times, yeah. He's an interesting character. One time there was a vote on whether to keep Christian constitution or just say we believe in God. So there was a vote, and they would just say they believe in God. So walking away from that meeting, and I met Phil Gallardi as we were walking back downtown Vancouver, and he was really disappointed about that being a Baptist preacher, but yeah, so I got to meet Gallardi now and then, yeah.
That was very good.